Hey, deserving listeners, Darcey and Stacey, season 4. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. Let's watch.
I don't want to be single. You know, you're getting married, you're renewing your vows. I feel like I want to be able to meet someone great that maybe I could potentially take to your wedding. Yeah. I'll see all this bling, because maybe I'll get a bling bling one.
Of course, you add in the possibility that for Darcey, the main, at least immediate reason as to why she wants and is so desperate for this to be perfect is she seemingly has, and I haven't shown all the scenes, she seemingly has a lot of unreasonable sensitivity that Stacey is having a big fancy wedding and Darcey is not. They do everything together. And I say that out loud. It's possible that Stacey has always, like, when the brother died, then Stacey became the parentified one, and Stacey can't think for herself. She's learned that if she thinks for herself, bad things will happen. I've said this before. Even when we first met her in season 1, she had signs of that, and she feels responsible for Darcey, but at the same time resents Darcey. Right? We certainly see evidence of that. I mean, this is total speculation. And Stacey would like to get married on her own or like to have kids at a different time than Darcey, but feels like Darcey would interpret that as such an abandonment that Stacey will conform her life to Darcey, even with the procedures that they have. It's, being on a show, everything. Stacey just does what Darcey seemingly is wanting to do. I don't know. It's hard to know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them doing a lot of things together. But for Darcey, she is seemingly really upset and jealous and envious and angry and hostile towards Stacey because she's able to have this nice wedding and all the things that she wants, all the fairy tale things, right? And thus her consolation is if she can have the fairy tale in, like, she's building up to the fairy tale, or she's established it, like, and she gets that guy, and it's a fairy tale. And okay, fine, you're getting married, twin sister, which is great, but I have an even better man. He's richer than Florian, and this is the fairy tale, and now I can compare myself to you, and I'm doing better. You're having this lame wedding in this lame place, and here I am. So I think that adds a potential another level to the desperation, to fairy tale eyes and black and white eyes. This.
I'm actually on my way to come see you, get our dance on.
Yes, but I'm afraid to tell you that some unusual happened today, and I can't make it for tonight.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. This is... this could be ugly. So if you don't realize what's happening, she is about to meet up with this guy that she has her first date with tonight. She's met with sort of a speed date situation with the matchmaker. She has been doing a lot of things to get ready for it. She's already saying things like, we're the same person, we're going to get married. And I'm remembering her first date with Tom, was it? That she was already talking about getting married. Remember that? There's like some kind of hint, or even to Tom, she was saying stuff like that. Yeah, it's just sad, really. I'm not sad, like pathetic, but that she is, that's how desperate, that's how wounded she is. That's how low self-esteemed she is. But anyway, so she is about to head out to this date, and he is saying that he had an emergency come up and he can't make it. Is that the truth? Because Darcey is the one contacting him, so you think that he would have contacted her. But, could be. Who knows? But it would be, I think, rational for Darcey to wonder if he is lying to her to just get out of the date because he's changed his mind or something. It wouldn't be advisable to assume that, because things happen. You'd certainly want to give it another try, but this is at the very least disappointing. So this could, for her in particular, I think for someone who was raised differently, better, who had more differentiation, more self-esteem, more attachment security in her life, more sense of self, more connection with the self, she would be able to, anyone would be disappointed, maybe let down, but there would be resources to fall back on internally and externally. Let's see what she does.
All right, well, thanks for calling.
Okay. Kisses. Bye-bye.
Well, minutes before I see him, I get a phone call. It's not what I expected. I don't know if this is a red flag or...
Right. Red flag. It could be. I mean, not a red flag, but could be an indication that he doesn't like her or is dating other people or not ready to date or whatever. There's just a billion possibilities. This red flag business, anything that looks wrong, anything where it's not the fairy tale and all good, it's a red flag. What is it? It's like watching someone who is starving and they have food in the kitchen, lots of food, and they get up and they go to the kitchen and they haven't eaten in a month for whatever reason, and they just need food, and you're just like, oh yeah, eat. They go to the kitchen and they're looking at food and they start preparing it, and then there's a slight discoloration that is not of their expectation, and they assume it's poisoned and they throw it away. Oh, it's poison, and they throw it away, and then they don't eat, and you're like, you were so close to eating. Yeah, I guess it could have been poisoned, but it's not likely, right? And then they do all these things and they make sure that the next thing isn't poison, and they get it in their fridge, and then they go to their kitchen and they pull it out, and they're about, I don't know, in my head it's a frozen pizza. I don't know why. And they're about to put it in the oven, like, oh, it's poisoned, and then they throw it away. That must be a sign it's poisoned, or if something happens, and they throw it away, and then they just never eat. That's what it feels like. I feel like she's so close so many times to getting her needs met. A fundamental need for compassionate love and companionship and attachment security and evidence that she matters in the world and that relationships are possible. And then every time it's like red flag, and then and then not only is this person going to the kitchen and constantly seeing poison everywhere where it probably doesn't exist, then the food actually sits out for a while, and she goes back to it and she eats it, but it got poisoned because it was out too long. And it's like, but you caused it to be not edible because you left it out. It's your fault that it became that way. Then all the friends and family come over and start going like, oh yeah, everything's poisoned. Don't eat that. That's poisoned. There's like no rational voice of, wait, what's going on here?
It's hurtful. Deep down inside, I really hope that his reasoning for not going on this date today is not an excuse. You know, even though he wants to reschedule, there's a little voice in the back of my mind that makes me feel like he wasn't really into me.
Totally possible. Happens all the time. When you meet up with someone for the first time, chances are one or both individuals are not going to feel it, and they're not going to want to go on a second date. Happens all the time. And it's not anything to be concerned about. It's just normal dating. But I don't know. She seems to be handling it okay so far.
And makes me feel a little insecure, and like maybe it had everything to do with me.
And the answer to that is yes, it had everything to do with you. Yes, that's what dating is like. You date, you present yourself in whatever way you want to, in conversation, and they're not into you. Yes, it is you. It's your quote unquote fault that they, that's what dating is. You're testing things out. Am I into them? Are they into me? It's not this catastrophe of self-esteem and worth that, it's not her fault. She has so much relational trauma that we can hypothesize as to where it comes from. It's just hard to watch. She went to one therapy session. You would think that her and especially everyone around her would be like, Darcey, maybe it's time for long-term therapy with someone that knows what they're doing. You just think that would come up, given everything that's happened.
Packet cigarette.
How's it going, Virginia?
Pretty much just working every day.
That's good. The massage again, huh?
Yeah, I started redoing my massage business again, getting clients.
Okay, so we're getting an update on Georgi. He flew in to town, I think, for the wedding. I'm not sure, to visit, because he's still the best man at this point. And Georgi's giving an update that he got his massage business up and running again, and he's getting clients, works all the time. So, good for him.
What I see last year, you changed so much.
Yeah.
Like totally different Georgi.
Since I go back to DC to think about a lot of things, and my relationship with Darcey in general, I regret for that. I feel bad about that. I was doing wrong things. So I kind of feel like I was my best friend.
Okay, there he is talking about how he was to blame. He made all the mistakes. We saw some things that he did, but they were, in my book, minor compared to the things Darcey had done and everyone around Darcey had done to him. So, I don't know. It's just hard to know what really happened. Are they just referring to things that Georgi did that were awful, and Georgi knows that he did horrible things, but they just never really highlighted them on the show? Or is it just another example of Georgi being a people pleaser and taking on all the blame when he isn't to blame? Some sort of desperation or trick that he's playing to try to get back into dark. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know how she's doing. You should ask about me.
It's good. Find some matchmaker until I'm happy. But I feel her energy is not really happy.
Think she missed me?
I don't know what is that, but something is missed. It's your turn.
And I just realized that for Darcey, since she is now maybe somewhat convinced, particularly when she talks to other people, I don't know, that this new dating life is going to be terrible for her. She doesn't seem to be handling it very well. A lot of people don't, but now that Georgi is here, will Darcey re-engage with Georgi because she is not encouraged by the dating life situation? And then they'll have this fairy tale section of their relationship, and then it'll return to Georgi as the scapegoat for everything, for having money in a sock in a drawer. I hope not. Or, and this is my optimism, which is just completely unfounded, that they will work it out, and Darcey will go to therapy, and she will learn from her issues, and they will actually have a good relationship that will not have the drama and the problems. Like, to me, that's what I would assume. I always figure, if you really give it the old college try and really try to get some self-awareness and face yourself, then, things are possible. Why not? But why would I think that's possible here?
So, tell me about you. How is the wedding going?
So much stress to be on it. But
All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.